because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter.
I'm Floyd Mayweather. With all the tools that Terence Crawford has, I will pick Terence Crawford to beat a prime Mayweather.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Max Kellerman recently shared his thoughts on a dream matchup that boxing fans can only imagine: Terence Crawford stepping into the ring against Floyd Mayweather. To Kellerman, it would be the kind of clash that defines eras. He describes Crawford as the modern sport's most complete, undisputed champion, a fighter whose adaptability and precision make him nearly untouchable in today's landscape. On the other side, he reminds us of Mayweather at his peak, an artist of defense who built a career on being impossible to hit cleanly, frustrating even the best challengers. In Kellerman's view, Crawford has already proven he belongs among the greats, and his versatile arsenal gives him a legitimate claim to compete with a legend like Mayweather. More than just a fantasy fight, the matchup represents something bigger, a meeting of styles, where Mayweather's impenetrable defense collides with Crawford's dynamic offense. For fans, Kellerman suggests, it would be unforgettable, a once-in-a-generation showdown bridging the brilliance of two different eras.
At his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
I don't. Because Terence Crawford got more to bring. He got more to bring to the table.
He's a great
Floyd
fighter.
Mayweather got the little shoulder roll, I get it. Controls distance, but Terence Crawford is also a master at distance. Terence Crawford has punching power to hurt Floyd Mayweather. We saw that in the Sam Judah fight now.
Yeah, Shane too. Shane hurt him with the right hand.
Shane did hurt him as well.
Yep.
And did he fight Shane? But did Floyd fight Shane in his prime? Do you think he fought him in his...
Sean Porter recently weighed in on the endless back and forth comparing Terence Crawford to Floyd Mayweather, and he believes the conversation often misses the bigger picture. In his eyes, constant who would win debates tend to overshadow the greatness each man carved out in his own right. Porter notes that many fans instinctively side with Mayweather, not necessarily because of a deep analysis, but because Floyd's legacy is etched in stone, an undefeated icon whose name is practically synonymous with boxing excellence. That automatic nod, Porter argues, can unintentionally downplay just how much Crawford has achieved. He's quick to clarify, though, that Mayweather is the blueprint, the original standard-bearer of dominance, the fighter who redefined what it meant to be untouchable. At the same time, he stresses that Crawford has built his own remarkable legacy, proving himself at the top of his generation. For Porter, it's less about stacking them against each other, and more about appreciating them as masters of different eras, each a standout in his own timeline, each deserving recognition without the shadow of comparison.
A lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah,
Yes. he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in that
The
sense
funny
is
thing
crazy.
about it is Terence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got a pioneer, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's an OG you can't out-figure out somewhere. And I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't out-figure.
Terence Crawford has never shied away from the constant comparisons to Floyd Mayweather, but his response is both humble and assertive. He openly acknowledges Mayweather as the defining fighter of his generation, a man who dominated the sport and left behind a historic legacy. Yet Crawford is just as firm in declaring that this era belongs to him, and that he is the one now pushing the boundaries of greatness. His perspective carries a dual weight: deep respect for the legend who came before him, and unwavering confidence in his own place at the top today. For Crawford, the conversation isn't about fantasy matchups or hypothetical victories. Instead, he frames greatness as something measured within its own time, each generation producing its own standard bearer. That balance of reverence and self-belief is part of what makes Crawford stand out. He isn't only admired for his skill inside the ropes, but also for the clarity with which he speaks about the sport and its history.
Everyone is going to start making comparisons with your legacy to Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah, we ain't going out that much.
Now,
Terence Crawford has been clear about one thing. He has no interest in chasing a fight with Floyd Mayweather. While fans may love to imagine the matchup, Crawford dismisses the notion, making it clear he isn't out to dethrone or outshine a retired legend. Instead, his attention is locked on his own path. He wants to close out his career on his terms, with his own goals as the measure of success. That outlook shows a maturity that goes beyond the ring. Rather than leaning on Mayweather's name to define his legacy, Crawford is determined to let his body of work speak for itself. For him, it's not about proving he could beat Floyd. It's about carving his own place in boxing history and walking away with the dignity of having accomplished exactly what he set out to do.
About going for 51-0, beat Mayweather's record with 50-0. Is that something that you thought about?
I already said I was never gonna beat Mayweather record. That's not something that I wanted to do.
Okay.
To be honest, I was gonna retire if I didn't get this Errol Spence fight.
Terence Crawford has highlighted Canelo Alvarez's opinion as especially meaningful in the ongoing debate. Canelo, after all, is one of the rare fighters who has shared the ring with both Mayweather and Crawford. So when he states that Crawford is the superior fighter, his words carry a credibility few others can match. Yet even with that endorsement, Crawford keeps his response grounded. He continues to honor Mayweather as the undisputed king of his own era, while asserting that this era belongs to him. That blend of confidence and humility reveals how Crawford approaches the conversation, not as a competition across generations, but as an acknowledgement of greatness in its proper time. In the end, Canelo's perspective adds weight to the discussion, but Crawford reminds us that respect between champions is just as vital as outside opinions when it comes to measuring true greatness.
One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Terence Crawford has consistently doubled down on his respect for Floyd Mayweather, making it clear that endless comparisons miss the point. To him, Mayweather is already etched into boxing history as a legend, his era defined by unmatched dominance. That chapter is closed, complete, and undeniable. Crawford, on the other hand, views his own journey as the start of a different legacy, one that doesn't depend on forcing a rivalry with a retired icon. By framing the conversation this way, he honors both careers without diminishing either. In doing so, Crawford shifts the narrative. Greatness doesn't have to be singular. Instead of chasing a who's better verdict, he reminds fans that the sport is elevated when multiple eras of brilliance are celebrated for what they are: unique, unrepeatable, and equally valuable to boxing's story.
Arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you? Keyshawn beat Tank?
Keyshawn beat everybody. Him and Shakur.
How you feel about them not fighting each other? That's cool?
Yeah, that's cool. They don't need to fight each other.
Was there anybody ever...
They can beat up everybody else.
Was there anybody ever like that in boxing with you? Because not really Sean Porter, right?
Nope.
No friends in this business for you?
I think Tim Bradley would have been like that.
Okay.
I think me and Tim Bradley would have been like that. I wouldn't have fought Tim.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But you
Floyd, yeah, because I wasn't as close. Me and Floyd close now, but when Floyd was boxing, I wasn't as close with Floyd like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore, so that fight ain't gonna happen.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you?
I think you got your answer there.
Nah, I didn't hear nothing. Is Floyd better than you? Some fighters say, even like Gervonta Davis.
Beat your
Okay, that's a no. That's a.
Chris Algieri has added his voice to the Crawford-Mayweather debate, reminding fans just how complicated these comparisons really are. He points out that arguments about the greatest rarely reach a clear conclusion because there are simply too many variables. Different eras, different opponents, different circumstances that shaped each fighter's path. Instead of getting lost in endless back and forth, Algieri urges people to appreciate what's right in front of them, two boxers who stand as extraordinary talents in their own unique ways. His perspective cuts through the noise, suggesting that the constant chase to crown a single best ever often distracts from the more meaningful truth, that both Mayweather and Crawford deserve recognition for their brilliance.
The discussion about, because Canelo was asked this question, who's better, Floyd or Crawford, and he immediately went to Crawford. Now, is that recency bias? Is that him protecting his own performance? Is that a veiled shot at Floyd? Probably all of the above. Is it really true? I don't know. And I think Crawford had a great answer. He goes, well, we're different eras. Floyd was, the best of his era. I'm the best of mine, which is a very diplomatic way to go about it. But listen, comparing the two is going to be an endless barbershop conversation that's going to go back and forth over literally the annals of time. I don't think we're ever going to be able to have a distinct argument where you're going to say, this is it. I actually want to do a video where I argue both sides with the same veracity and veracity, because it's that, because there is that much, there is that much about it, and you can, which is an awesome thing, because this is going to be the barbershop, like, yeah, well, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis. Well, he knocked out Joe Louis. Yeah, but he's 170. Like, we're gonna. That's the conversation
127 years old.
In real time with guys that we've all seen. Literally overlapping errors. So those discussions will always be there. It's great fodder. It's great barbershop debate. In the debate, it's debate. Yeah, it's going to be subjective.
I agree.
I think objectively, I don't think there's a way to really separate.
Yeah, I agree. And I prefer, as I was thinking about it, like, wow, I can't believe I've watched the Floyd era, the Crawford era, the Usyk era. It's like I've gotten to see some really great fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in the 90s, when boxing was, everybody was going head to head. There wasn't a guy that stood out like Floyd, Crawford, and Usyk, where it was super dominant.
Chris Algieri has also stepped into the Crawford-Mayweather conversation, offering a dose of perspective to a debate that rarely finds resolution. He emphasizes that declaring a single greatest is nearly impossible because too many factors are at play. Different eras, different opponents, and vastly different circumstances that shaped each man's career. Rather than fueling endless arguments, Algieri encourages fans to step back and simply value what both fighters represent. In his eyes, Mayweather and Crawford are not rivals to be ranked on a single scale, but masters of their craft in their own distinct ways. His reminder is simple yet profound. The obsession with declaring one man greater can sometimes overshadow the real beauty of boxing, the chance to witness multiple forms of greatness coexist.
You gave Crawford a really good chance. Did you see on Saturday night exactly why you gave him that chance?
I think so. He's very talented. He's a very disciplined fighter also. He's healthy. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he hasn't fought, or he didn't look too good against Madrimov at 154. How can he look good? He's a talented fighter, and that challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, oh, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68? Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard. He did what he had to do. I always said, I wasn't going to put money on it because it's also very dangerous. Like, Canelo's a beast, strong. So I never really, I wasn't going to put money on it, but I did give him a chance. He's got talent, man. He's got skills, and what he did was unbelievable, man. We were, there was another show that we do with Boxing Scene, and we had it right before the fight, at 4 o'clock, before the main card started. And they asked me, what's your final prediction? I said, you know what? I'm gonna say it, Crawford by decision, because I talked to Bomac on Thursday night, there in Vegas, and he seemed very positive, motivated. So that kind of gave me a little, you know what? My final prediction is Crawford by decision, and he pulled it off.
Teddy Atlas broke down Terence Crawford's recent victory with his trademark eye for detail, spotlighting the qualities that set Crawford apart. He praised Crawford's composure under pressure and his uncanny ability to see openings that most fighters would miss. One of the keys, Atlas noted, was Crawford's masterful jab, thrown with precision, timing, and tactical purpose. Atlas also placed Crawford's win in historical context by drawing comparisons to Canelo Alvarez's fights with both Floyd Mayweather and Crawford. When Mayweather met Canelo, the Mexican star was still young and developing, far from the seasoned champion he would later become. By the time Crawford faced him, Canelo was a matured, experienced fighter, yet still found himself clearly outclassed. Age played a role in both stories too. Mayweather was 40 when he fought Canelo, while Crawford was nearly 38 when he earned his win. For Atlas, this perspective underscores just how remarkable Crawford's achievement truly is, adding weight to the argument for his place among boxing's all-time greats.
But he's not digital. There's only a few guys that are digital. What do I mean by that? He's not Crawford. What do I mean by that? Where does it separate? Instincts, eyes, calmness, the mind wonders. I know the body wondered. I saw the combinations. Canelo's throwing one at a time, and Crawford's hitting him with 3, 4, 5 shots. He put them together. He's controlling the range. Yes, he had the reach advantage. Yes, he used it. He used the jab. He controlled the reach. But it's more than that. It's the mind at work. He's more advanced. He sees things. He's calm in an uncommon environment, calmer than most. So calm he'll see things others don't see. Just a millisecond. I was explaining this to Stephen A. the day before. Just a millisecond before someone else sees it, he sees it. And he's got the mental control, the confidence, the supreme confidence Customato talked about. He said he only saw 2 fighters with that. Teddy Atlas, I only saw 2 fighters with supreme confidence. Sugar Ray Robinson, greatest fighter of all time, and Muhammad Ali. Where they don't believe you can beat him. That's Crawford. All of that together, mixed together, makes a perfect cocktail of supremeness, of greatness, of another level, of digital. And that's what he sees things, he reacts to, he sees a twitch.
Canelo Alvarez has openly stated that Terence Crawford is the better fighter, and his words carry a rare authority. Unlike most voices in the debate, Canelo has actually shared the ring with both Mayweather and Crawford, giving his opinion a weight that speculation alone can't match. By acknowledging Crawford's superior skill set, Canelo lends legitimacy to the argument that Crawford stands at the top of today's boxing world. His perspective isn't built on theory, but on first-hand experience against 2 of the sport's greatest. That endorsement not only strengthens Crawford's case, but also reinforces the idea that his current form and accomplishments position him among the very best fighters alive, an active force, shaping the sport's present era of greatness.
Last night's match between Crawford and Canelo, I am not gonna lie, that boy Crawford up there with Floyd. The way he went toe-to-toe with a heavy hitter like Canelo is actually crazy, bro. And this is probably one of Crawford's best fights. Like, he was super sharp. Like, dude was super sharp, super clean, and he stayed in that pocket. People talking about that Crawford was running. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't look like he was running at me. It looked like he was taking them hits on the chin. I mean, for God's sakes, bro. He got stung in the head, took himself to the hospital. Like, dude, real life like that. And I know that, Floyd, he real life, he a good boxer. Floyd is actually one of my favorite boxers. But Crawford is now becoming one of my favorite boxers because he's very, skillful. The technicality of him and just the decisions he makes in that ring, bro, to get up on the scoreboard is crazy. And he's not like one of them fighters like how Shakur, he boxes for points. And that's cool. That's the way boxing's supposed to go, I guess. But Terence, you can get that from him, but you can also get that aggressiveness when he in that pocket and he throwing a couple hooks and trying to take you out. But I will say, Canelo even said it. He said, bro, he thinks that Crawford is way better than Floyd. And they asked him, why would you, think that? He just said everything he does is different. I can't understand the style of boxing he had. And he was saying that he's good in everything when it comes to the ring. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, Canelo is not lying. Like, Crawford is like that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, to stand toe-to-toe with Canelo, that actually is crazy, because everybody knows he's a heavy hitter. Like, he's a knockout artist. But yeah, he definitely deserves it, bro. That boy Crawford, 42-0, and I don't know why he's even thinking about retiring, but you gotta pass up Floyd. I'm not gonna lie, you need to get some more Jan Samuels under your belt, because if you pass up Floyd, that's when the rumblings are gonna really be like, oh yeah, he's the best. I don't think he's gonna retire. I think that he still go, fight it out.
After Terence Crawford's commanding victory over Canelo Alvarez, the comparisons to Floyd Mayweather took on new intensity. Many observers admitted that choosing one over the other has become nearly impossible. Crawford's resume now carries accomplishments that stand out even against Mayweather's storied career. By becoming undisputed across multiple weight divisions and holding 4 belts simultaneously, he has achieved something Floyd never did. Mayweather's undefeated record remains untouchable, but Crawford's ability to climb through divisions, unify them, and dominate at every level makes his legacy unique. For that reason, more and more voices are placing Crawford on equal footing with Mayweather, and in some cases, even a step higher. Regardless of where one stands, his achievements have already etched him into boxing history as one of the sport's rare all-time greats.